Welcome in to the McCready and Siskey Live Extra Friday edition, Week 12 preview. We're also and always brought to you powered by Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits. I do it every week. You figure I would I would get that fixed by now. Follow them on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. Also brought to you by the official sports betting partner of McCready and Siskey. That would be betonline.ag. You can go to our YouTube or to our Instagram or to our Twitter page on McCready and Siskey and get the link there. Uncle TikTok doesn't like links, as well as YouTube, so you can feel free to go there. You can click that link. You can join up. You can bet anywhere. Join our umbrella, and you can get up to $250 of free bets, as well as a 50% Bitcoin boost. All right, let me get my chats moved around where I can get everybody and see everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday. Shout out to all the people over at MPW Digital. I know y'all are having a ton of fun this week, and so we'll get this started. Got a big crowd on TikTok. Pretty big crowd for the Friday Live here. For all the people who are new here, and I imagine we're gonna have a lot of new people on here. What we'll do is we'll go over the picks brought to you by betonline.ag, the official picks for the week, and I'll go over my personal card, what we're gonna do there. Talk about the games, any games that you want to talk about on that, we can do that. And then after that, it's your show. Whatever you guys want to talk about in the comments, we will do that there. No questions off limits. Just we'll go at it and have a good time. All right, starting off in the college, because I know a lot of people probably have a lot of questions, particularly on MPW Digital. And I've already, and what's how I know so is I've already got the questions on TikTok Live. I started about 10 minutes ago. All right, question. Let's go college first. Really, not really much is different from what I talked about yesterday. Um, I'm going Alabama, Oklahoma under 45 and a half. I think this is a low scoring game. I think Alabama is going to struggle protecting the quarterback. I think Alabama is going to struggle running the football, but I don't think Oklahoma is going to do much better. I think the under is the safest play here. I think this is a one score game late in this game, a late one score, low scoring game. I really like what Kane has done on defense with this team. I think they're playing really as good as they've played all year. They're kind of peaking at the right time. The tackles, I underestimated this in the South Carolina game. I'm not going to underestimate it in this game. I think Alabama is going to struggle running the football, particularly on the perimeter. I think some of these simulated pressures and getting the matchups up front with Venables is what he's going to do. Is going to create problems for the Alabama offensive line. Um, Look, I think if Alabama wins this game, I think Ty Simpson has to be on his A game. I don't think he can show up with his B game, kind of what he had last week. Had a little bit in the South Carolina game. He's got to show up and play. Uh, Watch out for this game, though. If Ty Simpson plays well, this could be his Heisman moment. But I do like Alabama to win the game late. But I don't know about the cover part, but I do like the under at 45 and a half. Sticking with this pick as well. Not many people are going to play this, but I am. I like the matchup here. Western Kentucky's at home. They're playing Middle Tennessee. They're 13.5 point favorites, and it's not even in the vicinity close enough. Middle Tennessee's having all kinds of issues. They've lost, I don't know, 5 or 6 in a row. Have let go of their offensive line coach. Have let go of the receivers coach. They got all kinds of stuff going. They're going on the road. Western Kentucky's trying to fight for a Conference USA title game shot. Give me Western Kentucky big at home. All right, this line is interestingly moving. Yesterday, I took Ole Miss minus 14 and a half against Florida. This line's down to 11 and a half for whatever reason. I think it's Vegas trying to make this thing. Well, the team's going to be distracted. Bullshit. Give me Ole Miss big in this game tomorrow. I don't care what they do with the line. It's not making me get off of it. I think Ole Miss wins by 28 plus points in this game tomorrow. I think there's a statement made. This town in Oxford, just for the people who don't know, I live here. This town is already crazy. And it's probably the most active I've seen the fans around here since I've been in Oxford ever. So I think the crowd's going to be rambunctious. I think Ole Miss scores early and often. Give me Ole Miss big in this game. All right, my next pick. I'm sticking with it. I'm not changing. I'm not just because it got me last week. I'm not changing. Texas is at Georgia. Georgia has now covered one game against Power Four teams in the first half in the last year. I'm not changing. I'm going to keep riding it. I'm taking Texas plus 3.5. You're giving me 3 and a hook for the first half. I'm taking Texas plus 3.5 for the first half against Georgia on Saturday. All right, next game. All right, Mississippi State is at Mizzou. This line, let me see. I'm going to check betonline.ag and see if this line has moved at all. I was wanting to see any kind of line movement. When a game's at 6.5, I will kind of look if I'm taking the underdog, which I'm taking here. I will look to see if the line moves late to give me an advantage on that. Let me see here. Let me pull this one up. One second there, guys. All right. Let's see here. Of course, your boy hit the wrong button. There it goes. I was over there. No wonder they wouldn't show up. I was sitting here hitting a button, and then I actually was in the basketball lines. That's why it doesn't work, in case you're curious. This is bad pod. I apologize. Here we go. Yeah, it's up to 7 now. So, I'm personally gonna take this game. I'm gonna take it's at 7 right now. I'm gonna buy 0.5 point to get it at 7.5. So I'm gonna take Mississippi State with my own money plus 7.5 at Missouri. I picked them a money line for the show yesterday. But I'm taking Mississippi State plus the points. I will buy a 0.5 point up to 7.5. All right, my next pick. Like this pick a lot. A lot of talk with Narduzzi and all this stuff with Notre Dame coming. Pitts plus 12.5 at home. I think they're going to be ready to play. They're going to want to win. I think a lot of that smoke. Coaches say that stuff sometimes to kind of alleviate the pressure, but Narduzzi's a competitor, wants to win. If he turns around and beats Notre Dame and gets a chance to get an ACC championship game, I mean, he's staring a playoff spot in the face. Give me, since they made the quarterback switch to the young quarterback, they've been scoring a shit ton of points. I like Pitt at home here plus 12.5. Upset watch here. Upset watch here. But Pitt plus 12.5. I do like Notre Dame. CJ Carr, what he's done is amazing. I think he's the best freshman quarterback in the NCAA. I think these kids are a dude. I think he's a future Heisman Trophy winner. I think he is a future number one pick in the NFL draft. It's hard to explain to people, but when you know it, you know it. This kid can play. CJ Carr, y'all go ahead and write him down for whatever. So 2 more years from now, he'll be the first pick in the NFL draft. This kid can play. Got a chance to watch some of his stuff, like study it, and it's really impressive. Besides what do you see on TV, kid can play. Another game I'm taking that I did not pick on the show yesterday. I'm taking South Florida minus 9.5. South Florida minus 9.5 on the road at Navy. I think South Florida is just going to be able to score too much. Big game on the road in Navy. I just think they're going to outscore them. I think they can get up into the 40s or 50s. I just don't think Navy can keep up scoring. Give me South Florida minus 9.5 at Navy. All right. Going to the NFL. Try to get through this quick because I know you guys got 1,000 questions that y'all want to get to. So I got one, two, three, four, five, six. Got 7 college plays. And my NFL play is going to be this. I got 6 excuse me, I got 6 NFL plays. 5 of them were on the show yesterday, but so the Jags plus 2.5 at home versus the Chargers. I like the Jags as a team. I'm not going to just disown them, even though they had a 19-point lead last week in the fourth quarter and lost. I think the Jags are a good team. They're playing the Chargers at home. It's a noon game. I always like taking West Coast teams against East Coast teams at home at noon. So give me the Jags plus 2.5 at home versus the Chargers. Um, the Vikings at home versus the Bears. The Bears just haven't played anybody. I think the Bears are exciting, a fun team to watch. I think they're an up and coming team. I just don't think they have enough for the Vikings. I like the Vikings minus 2.5 at home against the Bears in a divisional game. The next one, did not do this on the show yesterday. I'm taking the Ravens minus 7.5 at Cleveland. Um, Baltimore's got kind of a sense of urgency going on right now. Lamar did practice yesterday. He'll be ready to go. Um, and I'm not. The Browns are just with Dylan Gabriel. Give me the Ravens minus 7.5 at the Browns. Lions at Eagles. The Eagles are this weird team, man. It's like I feel like I'm watching a team full of teenage girls. when they decide to play, they're really good. I'm talking about offensively. Defensively, they're solid. They got a bunch of tough asses. But offensively, it's like watching a bunch of 14-year-old girls in the huddle. Like, I don't understand it. It's very odd. Give me the Lions plus 2.5 at the Eagles. I think the Lions are totally different team. I like the Lions on the road. Give me points in the Lions. I think the Lions have the capability of being the best team in the league. All right. At home, I'm kind of going against the opposite right here. I think Neil actually took the Buccaneers. I'm taking the Bills. It's at 5.5. I got the Bills minus 5.5 at home against the Bucks. I think the Bills are not. They got some issues. I think the Bucks are solid, but you're giving me a tempo team in New York, getting a little chilly. And I think Buffalo at home is just a better team. Give me Buffalo minus 5.5 at home against the Bucks. Last game in the NFL, the Giants. The Giants will be in the backup. They literally have no starters left. The Packers are like this fringe team that can be really good, but really bad, and really good, but they only struggle against teams that are really good up front. Give me the Packers big at the Giants. I think with all the backups in, you have no Scatterbo. I mean, like literally all the guys that can play in New York's out. The head coach is gone. Give me the Packers minus 7 at the Giants. I think that's where I'll be on those games. So refreshing, I'm taking the Alabama Oklahoma under, the Western Kentucky minus 13.5, Ole Miss minus whatever Vegas wants to do with it. Hell, I may load up on the first half line too. Whatever Vegas wants to put on that game against Ole Miss Florida game, I'm taking Ole Miss. I'm taking Texas plus 3.5 in the first half against Georgia. I'm taking Mississippi State plus 7.5 against Missouri. I'm taking Pitt plus 12.5 against Notre Dame. I'm taking South Florida minus 9.5 at Navy. NFL, I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 2.5 against the Chargers. I'm taking the Vikings minus 2.5 versus the Bears. I'm taking the Ravens minus 7.5 at the Browns. I'm taking the Lions plus 2.5 at the Eagles. I'm taking the Bills minus 5.5 against the Bucks, and I'm taking the Packers minus 7 against the Giants. Reminder, make sure if you want to help the show out, want to help the guys out, the boys out, go to betonline.ag, but more importantly, go to either our Twitter page or our Instagram page. The link is there. You click the link, you sign up for betonline.ag. You can bet anywhere. You get a 50% Bitcoin bonus and get $250 free bets. That will be awesome. Helps out the show. We appreciate you very much. Now to the live. So let's see what kind of good questions we got going here today. Uh, got a pretty big crew for a Friday afternoon on MPW Digital. Got a big crew on TikTok, so it's time to hit the live. Let's go. Will Wisconsin upset Indiana this weekend? I do not think so. Charles, appreciate the follow over there, boss. Um, Reminder for everybody on YouTube, I probably have about a 30-second delay. So I'm just going to read from the chat and we'll keep going with whatever questions you got. Is James Franklin to Virginia Tech done? I do not know. I know he is a candidate there. He's a candidate at other places, but I would, if you made me pick, I think James Franklin to Virginia Tech has got a lot of smoke to it. A lot of smoke. Like my meter would be way over here in the Virginia Tech section. Memphis money line plus 125. Oof. I'm not touching it. I want to see. I'm not touching it. Edward Grimes, a question on the Kiffin decision. Oh boy, here we go. It didn't take long. Didn't take long. I figured we were gonna have a lot of Kiffin questions. A question on the Kiffin decision making. Based on your opinion, do you think a decision is made before the Egg Bowl? And if he's gone, do they let him coach that game? That's not even like, I mean, that's just total speculation. Oh, that would be total speculation on my part. Um, Look, I haven't changed what I said on Monday. I think things clear up next week, one way or the other. Um, and anything that, hey, is he going to coach this game or what? I stand by what I said Monday. I don't know anything about the Egg Bowl or anything like that. I would just be, uh, I would stand by what I said on Monday, where I think one way or another, I don't think he coaches a playoff game without being the coach at Ole Miss. That's just my opinion. That is an opinion, but yeah, there's that. Um, the accountant, can you say the same thing you have said about Kiffin for the past 2 weeks? I could probably repeat it verbatim. Yeah, I mean that's like it just is what it is. I hate like here's what I hate doing. Okay, is there's several things like I was trying to explain this yesterday to somebody that not on the show is do I know things? Yes, but it doesn't it doesn't clear it up. There's one person that knows what they're going to do, and to be honest with you, I don't think he knows what he's going to do. So what I say doesn't matter, and I get it. Everybody's hanging on every word everybody's saying, but what I say doesn't really matter. I have an opinion, and I can start putting things together, but I don't. I honestly, if you ask me today at what's today? Today is Friday. It's probably important to timestamp this. Friday, November the 14th at 12:52. I don't think he knows 100% what he's going to do. Bo, appreciate the follow. Um, Nathan, this is the fourth. You've been on this live for about what 25 minutes now, and this is the fourth coach you said is going to your school. Um, Jeff B, you're hammered drunk right now. Please acknowledge, dude. It's freaking 12:52 on a Friday, brother. We got 800 numbers for that, Jeff. Jeff, we got 800 numbers for that. Look, I want to say this, because I know a lot of Ole Miss fans are anxious. Like my phone has been ringing, like texting had been ringing. A lot of text. I know you're anxious, a lot of emotion. I imagine the post game show is going to be lit tomorrow. Hope Chase is ready for that. Um, I would say yesterday really, I would say yesterday I was probably my number was probably if you gave me like made me say something, I'd probably say, man, 70-30 that he was not going to be the coach at Ole Miss next year. And I think today I would start, I think it's more for me, probably 60-40 and probably going back towards the other way. This thing's gonna do this for the next 2 weeks. I think where things go and more information comes available, it's just fluid, extremely fluid. But at the end of the day, the reason it's fluid is because I don't think he knows. Um, I think there are. I'm going to try to say the way I can say this without saying too much or not enough, but I think there are. I think there are positives and negatives for each decision. It's not me making the decision. It's obviously him making the decision. He's got to do what he thinks best for him and his family and his coaching staff and all that. But I think there are. I don't think it's going to be a simple decision either way. Post game call show would be insane clutch. It would be, brother. If Kiffin leaves where he's going, it's Florida. It's Florida. LSU is not a viable option for him right now, in my opinion, and that's with some knowledge behind it. But I will say this: it's like I just, it's I just, I hate for like I really do because I mean I have a son that go like my favorite part is everybody thinks I'm like Ole Miss fans. Y'all love this. I am now considered an Ole Miss homer. I've been called Ole Miss homer. I just laugh. The Florida fans, Florida Twitter, y'all out of control, man. These guys on social media on Florida, they got. I used to, I'm ooh, I've seen some bad fan bases, but some of these guys on social media for Florida are out of control. It's almost like they haven't won in 10 years. Got some pent up aggression. Does Grubb or Womack leave after this year? Good question, Tank. I think it will get to him. I think there's enough things out there that it will get to him. Saban to LSU, no chance. Um, Just you got to roll with me on that one. Coach AB, what it is? Big Ben. Big Ben's telling people shut up. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. Travis, kick Jeffrey off the post game. Siskey, I like Jeffrey. No, won't do it, Travis. I like Jeffrey. You don't have to listen though if you don't want to, Travis. No such thing. He's terrible. I mean, what do you want me to do? You don't have to listen, and I'll make sure that I'll make sure that I add that extra number in for you instead of it being like 8,000 people, 8,100 people in there live. It'll be like 8,999 people in there live. I'll just my bad. I'll give I'll make sure I'll cut Neil a check for that 1 cent. I like Jeffrey. Um, Can you do a quick recap of the college picks, please? It's on MPW Digital Pop, and I'm going to post the graphic on the board. So if you're on TikTok, make sure you're going to on our main profile page. Make sure you're on the McCready and Siskey board. It's a new feature they've started this past week, and it's great. I can post everything there. Um, who is a coach most people might not know off the top that you're really impressed with? Um, that I'm really impressed with that people don't know. I think he's in a rough situation, but Mike Loxley at Maryland and his staff do a great job, particularly with the resources they're given. Um, Phenomenal job. But I get what it looks like perception wise. You got to win and all that stuff, and they're in the Big Ten and all that. So, but they do a really good job from a coaching perspective. Trying to think of guys that people aren't going to talk about. I think what Huff's done at Southern Miss is really good. I think he's on it. I think he's going to be a hell of a coach whenever he gets his shot. Um, I'm a big Jeff Brom fan. Nobody. I mean, his name is now hot now, but Jeff Brom wins everywhere he's ever been. I think he's a hell of a coach. There's a bunch, dude. There's a lot that don't get credit that are really good coaches, and because somebody has to lose, and it's such a resource based business right now. And Group of Five is like a walking example. You and Rebel fan, what it is, my guy? Yeah, if you go to our TikTok homepage, there's a thing underneath our bio that says McCready Siskey board. It's like a bulletin board feature that they have on TikTok now that we can post everything. Austin, what it is? My brother is a UF fan. He says Ole Miss fans are insufferable online. Meanwhile, is every UF fan calls us dumb, poor, fat, stupid, and can't win. I'm tired of it. Why does don't you know when people know exactly what you're doing and they still call your phone? Like I'm going to answer while I'm doing this. Like they know exactly what I'm doing right now, yet they want to call my phone. Stop. You're probably in the chat. Stop calling my phone. I've already seen your name in the chat. Stop calling my phone. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm doing right now. Um, Thank you. Unbelievable. Um, yeah, dude. Like you can't get like. Here's the thing: is like the emotions, Austin, are at an all-time high, all-time high, and so it just is what it is. There's dumbasses in every fan base. Like my favorite, Austin. You'll like this. I think I've told this before, but my favorite was when I got the. My favorite was when I got the when the whole binocular thing happened. I got a I got a DM or I got not DM. I got a tweet or something that told me that he hoped that I developed anal cancer. It was very specific, anal cancer, and died a slow and painful death. Obviously, an Ole Miss fan, and so I was like, "Wow, that's kind of harsh." And so I clicked on his like profile, and he was a freaking minister in some small town in Mississippi. The guy was a minister in some small town in Mississippi. I was like, and so I hit him back with like the God bless you, and then he deleted everything. I mean, yeah, they're out there. uh, so yeah, they're out there everywhere, boss. All right. You've been told to get throat cancer. That's rough too. Uh, Ole Miss still has my phone number on their website. I bet they don't, Dalton. I bet they don't have my phone number on their website. See, Dalton. See, here's some things you don't know about your boy, Dalton. Let me tell you a few things you don't know about your boy. That when Ole Miss, when Ole Miss got in their NCAA troubles, the NCAA investigated 795 people. 795 people got interviewed for that. Do you know who one of them wasn't? Your boy. I bet my phone number is not listed anywhere. You not get your boy. Uh, Not my first rodeo, boss. You ain't gonna see my name go across the bottom of a ticker. Not your boy. Hayden, how far down the road are Auburn and Summerall? Hayden, I can't answer any of that stuff, man. Um, yeah, I hope y'all understand that. I can't answer those kind of things. I just can't. I hope you understand that. I would love to. Um, at some point I will, but I can't answer that. Uh, should Mississippi State start Kamari? I don't know. It just depends on what he wants to do offensively. No, it's fine. I don't mind you asking, Hayden. I don't mind you asking the questions as long as you're okay with me not, being honest with you and what I can and can't answer. You know what I mean? I don't. What asking the question doesn't bother me. I mean, you're just. I mean, I get it. That's what we're here for. Jaden, what's good with you, brother? How are you been doing today? Um, Maddie, should Mississippi State start Kamario tomorrow? Depends on what Levy's game plan is. I think he's going to be really good. Um, I think Shapen probably throws it a little bit better right now. Mario probably gives you a little bit more in the running game and evading the rush a little bit better. But I think Shapen's better at reading, diagnosing in the passing game right now, and actually throws it a little bit better on the deep ball right now. Camario's got a live arm; he just needs to reel it in a little bit fundamentally. Oh yeah, it's gonna be. I don't think. I think the. I think Neil talked about it. I have ran over my cord here, so it's gonna rip everything out in a second. I think Neil kind of hit the nail on the head yesterday. I think that press conference is gonna be bizarre. I'd be almost surprised if it wasn't. Brandon, am I going to the game tomorrow? No, sir. No, not going tomorrow. Oh, shout out by the way. By the way, I got my Horn Legend shirt on today. So if you haven't already, y'all shall all go to Horn Legend and get and check out all their stuff there. The best polos I have ever put on in my life, and for somebody that wears polos like every day for work for like the last 20 some odd years, this is the best polo, best fitting, best material I've ever worn on a polo. They do a hell of a job. So make sure you go check out Horn Legend. Got this in yesterday. These are baby blue fish on my shirt. You can get whatever you want to. Austin, he's not going to say anything. Well, I think it's going to be telling one way or the other. Yeah, Horn Legend's got great stuff. I already wanted John at Auburn, but it seems like just to me that he wants the job pretty badly when he makes me want him even more. Yeah, I mean, whatever John decides to do, whether he stays at Tulane or he goes somewhere else, John's going to be successful. John's a hell of a coach. He's got a great staff. Siskey Redman was renamed America's Best. Whoever gets to rename it back gets saved as a coach. It's pretty good. I did not know that actually. I haven't partaken in that in a while. Um, is Shane Beamer in play at Virginia Tech? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they're kind of down the road a little bit. Bryson, would you say OU is a top 10 job? I'm currently arguing with fans and comments that we are not. A top 10 job? I mean, that's so subjective. I think here's the thing too, right? the way I view jobs is probably a little bit different than everybody else views jobs. I think fans view jobs as they've won, the quote unquote blue blood, and they've done this and all that. I view jobs in how can you currently, with the way that the rules are in place, not what we think they're going to be or what they were, but the rules that are currently in place. And I think we're going through another transition of that this year. Okay, we had the pre NIL era when no players ever got paid ever, no recruits ever got paid ever before NIL. We had that era. Then we had the NIL era where it was a fundraising contest, and that separated teams. Well, now we're going into the rev share era, and the rev share era is kind of twofolded, right? One is what percentage of rev share am I getting? What's my like base salary, right? And so the way I was actually describing this on the phone to somebody today, I said the era we're in is kind of like a salesman job, a sales job, right? It's like your rev share is your base salary, and your NIL is your real NIL, real endorsements, real like not pay for play, true NIL that you can stack on top. Are you in a marketable environment, right? And I think there are some teams that have advantages there because here's what it is you're not going to be able to put everybody that thinks you're going to be able to go stack $25 million on top of your rev share. That's asinine. That'll never happen. So it's how much money can you actually find to stick on top legally on top of your cap? So can you get to 20 in the 20s, right? And can you get 6 to 8 to 10 million dollars in real NIL because you got the corporate people that are willing to do it? That's how you cheat the cap. But the days of going like, hey, let's go raise a bunch of money so we can pay Billy Bob over here to play left tackle. That's not going to happen. And so there is going to be a shift into high school recruiting a little bit more than it's been. Why? Because they're cheaper. And so you're going to have to save all your money to go because the portal's still going to be expensive. Um, so for me, it's about can you really do that? And what is your plan to do that? Because right now there's no proven formula for that. So I need to know your plan and do I believe in your plan to do that? Brandon Tyler, what was the main reason for Aflac yesterday? I think it's twofold, Brandon. I'm not, I don't, first of all, Brandon, I don't know this. I mean, Chase has been Chase probably knows more about this than not probably, guarantee you, Chase knows way more about this than I do. But I can speak for the same kind of things happening in other places. So there are unique ways to fudge the cap. Okay. So like you still have to come up with the rev share money. It is an expense, right? So some schools are using that to help rev share. There are golly, I don't know what I can say and what I can't say because some of it's strategy secrets for my business. There are ways to fudge the cap with corporate sponsors for athletic departments to kind of fudge the market value dynamic of that. I think some of that is being done, but not necessarily. I don't know that to be the case with the Aflac thing. I have no idea with the Aflac thing. So let's use Aflac for an example. Okay, who is the current college football coach that's on the Aflac commercials? Deion Sanders, right? He's at Colorado. If Deion Sanders and they're starting Juju Lewis do an Aflac commercial together, you're going to be able to increase Juju Lewis market value legally inside of that commercial because Dion is in it. Um, so there are creative ways inside of these partnerships to manipulate the cap and NIL Go and Deloitte, but I can't really. That's as far as I can probably go into it without getting Too nerdy and telling trade secrets. UM Rebel fan, LSU minus 5.5 at home, but early kick both teams interim coach. Who do I take? Nobody. Alex Drake Brooks, what it is? Hey Siskey, what do you think Auburn is? Who do I think Auburn's going to hire? I have no idea. I think I could give you I think I know about 4 guys it's going to be, but look, like everybody's waiting on. Here's the truth: everybody's waiting on Lane. Lane's gonna be the first domino to fall, and then everybody will start going off of that. That's just what's going to happen. And then if it doesn't happen and it gets drug out, then they're going to move on without him, and then it could get really. It's just going to get weird at that point. Does Dion make another year at Colorado, Travis? He'll probably yeah. They can't buy him out. He's got a 6-year deal. I mean, unless he does it himself, like retired. I don't see him walking away from that, but I guess he could. Drop a wedding ring. Did Neil bet on Duke? I think so. I don't remember. Cole's gonna do the thing today. Let's see what else we got. H squared disc golf. Let's go. H squared disc golf. I've always been very curious about that sport. If Bama were to drop 2 of the last 3 and miss the playoffs again, would DeBoer entertain leaving because of heat from fans? Don't think it happens, but could be interesting. Like I understand, okay? I'm just going to tell you my opinion. I don't give a shit how mad you are at me. I'm going to stay right here until you fire me because I have a $78 million buyout. Fire me. Hey, how about this? I will set up a chair in downtown Tuscaloosa. And I'll set a microphone up and y'all could come there and roast my ass all day, no Diddy and pause, all day, every day. But you're gonna fire me. I'm not running from it. I'm not running from it. No. I'm not gonna go. They're mean to me. I'm gonna leave. No. I mean, they're so mean to me. I'm gonna leave this $78 million behind. No. Not happening. You can fire me though, and then I'll go somewhere else. Best lunch in Troy, Hayden. It used to be Crow's Chicken, but I think they shut it down. I don't know. I haven't eaten lunch at Troy in a hell of a long time. Bradford, I can't comment on Summerall. The only comment I can comment on Summerall is I think whatever he decides to do, whenever his decision comes up and he decides to make a decision, he will be very successful in whatever he tries to do. But I can't specifically comment on any of that. Who gets a head coach job first, Kane or Grubb? I think it depends, Chad, on what jobs are open. I think if it gets to a situation where Jed Fish leaves Washington, I think Grubb's the next guy at Washington. Oh, you're good. Hey, Bradford, you're all good, man. Don't worry about that. You can ask all the questions. I'm not. I don't. The questions don't bother me. You can ask whatever. You know, I just some things I can't talk about. Jay, appreciate the follow. Jagger, what it is? What's up, Siskey? How's my day going? It's going good, brother. Going really good. Got up, got some work done. Got to do some taxes today. A little payroll taxes. Who loves that shit? Tyler Red, what it is? Rhodes, Walker, Siskey, what's your favorite offensive scheme package into today's game? It really is not like. I mean, I like tempo. I like tempo teams that can mix in gap scheme with RPOs. And but it's more multiple. I'm a multiple guy on offense. I like my favorite communicate. To me, it's all about the communication system. It's not really about scheme as much. And that's why I liked Hugh's communication system, because you can literally run any play that you want to quickly, without having to, in the way we practiced it, and you can be very multiple, which is ironic. I think the reason that they really struggled at the last part of his tenure at Auburn is they got very basic. And I think you saw Derek last week spread it out and start doing more things. You can do a lot of things in that quote unquote system, but it's about the communication system, not necessarily the scheme. But I like, as far as runs, I like direct runs, but I also like outside zone. Um, it broke my heart when they changed the rules. You couldn't crack the box with the receivers, because I always like building a wall and running some kind of G scheme or truck or buck to get to the perimeter with pulling big boys on the perimeter. I love that stuff. But I also like the quarterback run game. I'm pretty multiple. I don't have really anything that I dislike. Love 12 personnel because it allows you to be more creative with formations and plays. If you got the right tight ends, I love 12 personnel, but I like to base out of 11. But if I got two good tight ends, I'm going to be heavy 12 as well. It'd be 11. It'd be my four favorite personnel groups are 11, 12 would take up 80% of it, and then 10 empty, and 20, and then 01 personnel, which is four wide, one tight end, because you can run your quarterback run game, gap quarterback run game with an empty look. That probably went way over everybody's head, and I apologize. And usually I lose about 50 people every time I start talking about scheme. Can the Hogs beat LSU? Sure they can. Travis, what's your thought on the three-man front, Siskey? I get it has its place in disguise and coverages and blitzes, but I don't think we get enough pressure with it. Well, it depends on, like, the if I was to be a head coach tomorrow, we're going to be a 3-4 base team. And the reason you're a 3-4 base team is because you can you can be multiple out of a 3-4. If you're a four down team, you can't be as multiple. Okay, I can be odd or even front by stemming guys this much. Okay, a true odd front, you have a zero nose, two four eyes, and a jack backer. Well, if you take the nose and you move him literally from the head up of the center to the right side of the center, and you take that four eye and you move him about 6 inches to the right, now you have an even front. And so it can moving and stemming can change the front and mess up the blocking rules. It's harder if you're multiple out of 3-4. It's harder for the offensive line and run blocking, because then you start misidentifying mic points. You start getting free runners in the running game. That's why everybody's odd. The other reason everybody's odd is because of the zone. Okay. Everybody lined up for years and ran even. Then Reed's zone came along, and everybody's like, oh shit. And there was not as much gap scheme. Everything was zone, 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 zone. Now everybody started going odd, and that's when you started seeing counter, 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 counter. Everybody started going gap scheme, counter stuff. So it's got its weaknesses, but I do like the 3-4-1 because of the pressure schemes that you can be more multiple out of, and the fronts that you can be more multiple out of. I know that was nerdy, but you asked the question. All right. Cisco, what flavor ring you rocking with today? I haven't had one yet today. Ryan, hadn't had one today, but I'll probably go with the orange sherbet when I get out of here today. What do I think about Tennessee Tech plus 22.5? I thought about taking them as the money line yesterday on the show just to be funny. More coach talk, fascinating. Brett, I would love to. I love talking ball, but I also look at our numbers, and every time I start talking ball, the numbers literally hit in a spiral and they go down. Like you lose because people don't understand. I mean, I don't know when I really talk ball. I don't know how to make it where everybody can understand it. I struggle with that. It's one of my weaknesses. I wish I could figure that out. Um, like I start talking, and I don't like that's what I struggle so much, and I hate, like, sometimes when me and AJ start going, I realize Neil may get lost, and then if he's lost, then everybody's lost. If he doesn't get it, then I know it kind of helps me when I see Neil kind of not know what we're talking about. I have to check out and change the topics. They don't have to listen. That is true, but they still they turn it off. Hurts the show. Got bots over here in freaking Twitterverse, I mean TikTokverse. Uh, Zachary, keep that stuff. You ain't got to send me any money, dude. I don't need your money. Keep that. Appreciate it. It's very nice of you, but you don't have to send anything. No, no, I don't. I don't. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be just fine. Thank you, though. It's very generous of you. Can't football isn't a universal language. No, it's not. That's another thing. Like sometimes we get coaches on when I do the TikTok lives, we'll have coaches come on and ask about a coverage, and everybody calls coverages different, right? So, I apologize. Somebody's running the vacuum in my house. Again, I'm good, guys. Yeah, it's like everybody knows what I'm doing right now. Everybody in this house knows what I'm doing right now. So it's, you know what? Now is a good time to run the vacuum cleaner. Right now, it's a great time. Good job, guys. And I'm gonna get my ass ripped when I say something about it. That's even the best part. Um, which NFL team offensive scheme do you like to watch or break down? You know what's funny, Tyler, is a lot of the NFL stuff is very similar. You know, I like watching. There's some creative run. The run game gets a little creative in the NFL. Passing game's very vanilla because there's so much man coverage in the NFL. Like if teams go zone coverage, they just get eight alive. There's not many teams that can play zone in the NFL and not get eight alive. So it's so much. It's very the NFL is such a different game than college. NFL is about a lot of formations, a lot of motions because they want to get it's all about matchups. So they want to get their best player matched up on the worst cover guy in a passing situation. Or they want a formation and shift and motion guys to create run fit issues to in the running game. And so it's a totally different game. College is about putting binds right now in the RPO world. It's the RPO world because the offensive line play is down, defensive line play is up. And so the RPO world kind of replaced the three-step game, the slide protection for many teams. Like there's very few teams that just go full slide protection and throw freaking hitches and slants. Everything's half slide. And then when you get in third and long, it turns into a man protection fest and give up sacks. Siskey taught quarter, half rules and split field coverage rules. Yeah. So quarter, halves, we used to call cover six. All right. So yes, just cover two on one side and quarters the other side. But I will tell you this: the first time that it was actually Dave Womack. Dave Womack, that's Kane's dad. For those that don't know, Dave was with us at he was one of the very first guys to run true split field coverage to where he would run, he may run quarters to one side of the field and run cover zero to the other side of the field, or run robber coverage, cover eight to one side of the field, and he may go 82, 84, 80 in split coverage. And brother, when you're really good at that and you're good at matching up the pressures with it, he was like Dave was one of he'll never get credit for it because we didn't call it back then. It's kind of like Rich Rod doesn't get credit for the RPO game and the read zone game as much. Dave Womack will never get credit, but Dave Womack was running simulated pressures before that was a word. And when first time I saw him do that, and I had to go against it every day, it felt like there were 15 people on the field. It's brutal. So do I deer hunt? I like to, but I haven't been because of my job. But I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do. I just haven't been forever, but I actually enjoy it. Um, what's more important, attitude or technique? What's more important, attitude or technique? Attitude or technique? I mean, I will take a guy that's an asshole that does the right technique before I would take a nice guy that didn't do the technique right. Nice guys that don't do the technique right are gonna get your ass fired. Assholes that do the technique right, you win games. So I'll take the technique before I'll take the assholes. That was a pretty simple question there, Hayden. Do I stomp people in NCAA 26? First of all, I haven't played in a long time, but yes, my son gets very frustrated with me when I would play because I would just like NCAA game is very like you can stay in 12 personnel in the NCAA game and beat everybody. If you know football, you can run 12 personnel in NCAA and beat everybody. I'm sure you saw the Sellers news. What coach system would you like to see him in, and where you think he'd excel at? What did Sellers news? That was, I think, a fake tweet, boss. I think you got fake tweeted. Don't believe everything you see on Twitter. Stony Smith, sad the season is being tarnished over Kiffin. Why is it being tarnished? Nothing has happened yet. It's your expectation. See, Stoney, you can't set yourself up for failure. It's under your expectation that it's going to be tarnished. How is it tarnished? Have you had any indication to this point, as of Friday, November the 14th? Have you had any indication that it has affected the season? As of today, it hasn't. um, I don't know football, but what do I do? What do I need to be doing to 12 personnel? Because you'll go 12 personnel doors rules and you'll play against random people and they'll be in dime and nickel, and that's not the matched up personnel. And so if they're in dime or nickel, just run the football and motion your tight ends back to the weak side, and you got two extra gaps. They don't have enough men's. You just outnumber people. What's the only thing being talked about? Not all right, Stoney. That's the only thing that's being talked about, not the fact that of what Trinidad and this offense has done. But again, but that doesn't affect the team. Nobody gives a shit what's being said inside the building. Um, it hasn't. I mean, if they go out and get beat on Saturday or whatever, they got beat. But like, I don't think what Lane is doing or isn't doing or whatever to talk. That's all, in my opinion. I think that's just created. I mean, that's not my opinion. I think it is something that's created pressure. Hogs getting Dabo, same type of hire as Calipari. Like I genuinely like seriously though, like I genuinely like BP. Like I'm genuinely curious. Like how do you get to that conclusion? You know what I mean? Like Dabo's going to go, "You know what? I have been here now for what? I mean shit, he's been there what? 15, 16, 17 years. He's got a $60 million buyout." And he goes, "You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk away from this $60 million buyout, and I'm going to Arkansas. I grew up in Alabama, and I'm right here at Clemson. You know what? I'm 3 hours and 30 minutes from my hometown, and I'm going to go, you know what? I don't want to be at Clemson. I want to be at Arkansas." You don't think his ego wants to do well in the SEC? BP, he's one of three coaches in the world that's coaching that's won a national championship. One, two is he doesn't have an ego like that. And three is he sure as the fuck ain't going to freaking Arkansas. So no. No. Zero. Wow. That's strong though. Good luck to you on that. Like you could have got me with a lot of other ones. Arkansas ain't it. You can't get me on the Arkansas one. If it gets out that he's leaving during the bye week, does he even get to coach the Egg Bowl? Somebody answered that earlier, Kodo. That would be completely speculation on anybody's part. Look, the only person that knows what they're going to do in that situation is going to be Keith. Um, I I'm sticking with the same thing. I think things get settled out next week, one way or the other, and then I think Keith would have to make a decision what he wants to do for the playoffs if he thinks that he's going to go into Florida. Trav, what it is, you know my answer to that question, Trav. Love you though. Um, Robert Mayfield. It's called a troll. No, he's actually being serious. Robert, while you're over here thinking he's a troll, like he's over here defending in this in TikTok chat, he's over here defending his rationale. Not a troll. Um, Robert, you would be very surprised at some of the things that get dropped in this chat. I've heard Arkansas has some of the best rock candy cooked up in the hills. It's showing. Wow. Yeah. Gotta be careful with that kind of stuff on TikTok. They get mad at me. Have you seen the number one 7A high school team in Florida run single wing? Old school stuff. No, I haven't actually. Interesting. Um, Brandon, did the article this morning move you one way or the other? What article are we referring to? So no, but what article are we referring to? Um, I don't know what article we're referring to there. I know, Brandon. I'm sitting here talking to you. I forgot you're on delay. My bad. You'll probably answer in a second. You and Rebel fan. By the time we know we need someone, Summerall will be hired at AU. Um, I I will. I will say this in the event, and I don't know this, but in the event that like if Lane were to leave, I think Ole Miss is a very attractive job, and I don't think Ole Miss is going to struggle finding it. Like I actually think, like I think I will say this. I feel like I can say this. There's a lot of things I can't say. I feel like I can say this. I think there's some anxiety from Ole Miss fans that if Lane leaves and they're going to be out of the window, blah 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 blah. Where we're going, who are we going to hire? I think Ole Miss fans would be very surprised at how many people will be interested in the Ole Miss job. I think I honestly believe whether Lane stays or Lane goes, I think Ole Miss is going to be in fine shape. Uh, I I have my confidence level on that as 100%. I'll just I don't think there needs to be anxiety on that. I do. I think Ole Miss is a very good job. I think it's viewed as a good job inside the um, coaching community, and I think people would like to take the job. So, regardless of what happens, whether he goes or he stays, obviously if he stays, they got everything coming back. I think they're really primed to have a really good year next year with everything. I think regardless of what happens, I think Ole Miss will be in good shape. Brandon, oh, the Ross Dellinger article. No, I did read a little bit of that. I haven't read the whole thing. I read it, but no, that's not what would I again, I was 70-30 yesterday. I'm probably 60-40 today, probably even going a little closer to the 50 mark. And I think it's going to end up 50-50 probably when it's all said and done. I feel like I got some last pieces of the puzzle I needed to get to kind of get there. Um, I say just hire Siskey, be done. Retirement isn't for everyone. Brother, I just don't think that's going to happen. That would be awesome. We would win a lot of games. We would cheat our ass off. We would be tampering. We'll be winning a lot of games. And so when we actually did get busted again, I could always come back to Quick U. The press conferences would be fire. Me and Neil could do like a McCready and Siskey pregame, Um, that could be fun. But yeah, no, that probably won't happen. My my head coach and I made the mistake of leaving Alabama a year early. That hurt my head coaching chances. Um, Irishman 23. You hurt my head. There's a reason you don't coach anymore. Oh, you're so cool. Like Irishman? Do you think that really like you think that gets to me? Like, I wonder, like, when you type that in, in your mind, I'm just genuinely curious. When you type that in, are you like of the mentality of like, are you such a miserable fuck that you think you gonna like hurt my feelings? Is that what it is? Or would it be that um I made more money this week than you will probably ever make in your life? Which one would it be? I'm just genuinely curious. Do you think that's gonna hurt my feelings? I'm just curious. What a fucking loser. I love you guys. Uh Nash, just call it entertainment, Nash. Hey Nash, I know I look like a dumbass. I got you, boss. Got every once in a while you gotta have fun with them. Uh he's changed it, but it kept us what he was saying, Travis, on the other part. Kiffin fit Ole Miss perfect. We need that. No, I think Lane's done a great job. I think Lane's done a great job. Um, again, if I was advising him personally, which I'm not, obviously, if I was the head coach, I would have signed it. I'd have signated it. I'd signed it weeks ago. But Lane's Lane. Lane beats to his own drum. He's going to do what he thinks is best. But he's the one that's got to make the decision. I don't think there's anything Ole Miss hasn't done. I think it's a good fit. Um, and the same thing, I think even with the new system that we're going to, I think what Walker Jones has done with the Grove Collective has been awesome. Um, I think they've exhausted every opportunity in alignment with Glenn Boyce to Keith Carter to give everything once. Like I just it's an if I was the head coach, it would be a very easy decision to me. Really wouldn't be a decision to be made, um, regardless of what the job is, because I try to see things like. And Lane's smart. Lane will probably get there at some point in time, but there's always been this thing, and it's just part of the business. I know people don't want to hear it, but you get to a point to where you're like, hey, if I max you start worrying if I maxed out here, if we don't do this or don't do that, is the expectations too high and this and that. But like I just think where the game is today, I think he would be better off long term career wise staying. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. He's the one that's got to make the decision. I wouldn't leave Ole Miss for anywhere. I didn't say that. I just the jobs that are open, I wouldn't. If LSU wasn't such a cluster, I would. If LSU wasn't such a cluster, I would leave for LSU job. But they are, and the current jobs that are open, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't leave for the Auburn job. I'll tell you that. I will 100% tell you that. And I played at Auburn. Um, I would probably leave for Alabama, and that may I would leave for Texas. I'd leave for Texas A&M right now. But for if I was in the same situation with the same success, but that's it. Um, that's just my opinion. How hot is Buster Faulkner for a head coaching job? I think it could get to him. I just don't know which one. It's going to be the funnel down effect with the coaching carousel. WG Miz, what are your thoughts on the MU job if Drink leaves? Interesting. I'm interested in the Missouri. Like I would be interested in the Missouri job for that. I would like to do some investigating on it. I think they've done a phenomenal job in this past world we're in. They are a one shop pony when it comes to the school. I would like to know what the NIL, like real NIL opportunities are. at Missouri as far as corporations and things like that. What would be their plan for future NIL? But if that's good, I think it's a good job. Is Hartline gonna get a job, Jacob? You know, I don't know. I mean, I think he can. I don't know Hartline personally. I've met him a couple times, but like just shaking hands stuff. You know, we coached against each other a few times. Um, but I think that he it depends on if he wants to do it. I don't know. It probably depends on the opportunities. Robert, Texas A&M is your only pushback. What do you mean, Robert? Do you think Pete Golden could handle it? I don't think Pete Golden would be the interim head coach. Is that what you're asking, Brandon? I think Lane loves Lane. He loves the attention. So yeah, that part is appealing to him for sure. Daniel. Oh, y'all talking to each other? Okay. Missouri has a little help from Walmart too. I did not know that. I did not know that. It's got to be one of the kids, huh? All right. I got about 5 more minutes, and then I'm wrapping this bad boy up. So last call for questions. What we got? Who do you see taking the Oklahoma State job? I'm really wanting Eric Morris from North Texas. I think he is definitely in play there. McDonald Sim. I think he's in play there. I think Colin Klein's in play there. Um, yeah, that he's in play for sure. Texas and Georgia tomorrow. Who I got? I think Georgia wins the game, but I think Texas. It's close. I'm yesterday years old. I had no idea about this. I had no idea about this Walmart money in Missouri. I was yesterday years old. Siskey, why is Green Bay so bad offensively? They just can't get back in the rhythm ever since the bye week. I don't know, man. It's been a little, they've been dinged up in the receiver core too, but they just, and then tight end getting going down was brutal for them. But, um, who do I think's winning the Super Bowl? Shoot, it's too early for me. I like the Seahawks are playing really well right now. I'm not going to count out Detroit or Philadelphia in the NFC. I think it's one of those three teams. AFC, you never can count the Chiefs. Um, I'm probably Chiefs. I'm not buying the Colts thing. I'm probably Chiefs Bills. Any chance Kiffin is doing this to get more teams? Like, look, I'm not going. I don't know, guys. I don't know what that would be a little. That would be a stretch to me. I don't think he is. I don't think there's like some ulterior. I really don't. I don't think this was that complicated. Just my honest opinion. But this again, my opinion. Um, but I'm going to stick by what I said. I think there's going to be some direction one way or another in the next week, and then Saturday night will be fun. uh, but I can't really. I'll let Neil and Chase talk about it if they ever want to talk about it. I don't know if they want to talk about it or not. That's what they do for deal. I personally don't want to be a part of. Like I have no desire in like, hey, this is I'm going to say what I think, but I'm going anything that I know that maybe they know, I'm going to let them handle all that. I don't have any desire to participate in that world. Um, am I ready for Lane to make a decision so you can talk about other things going on? Yes, I am. Lane, do something. Like I am selfishly, in my selfishness, I would like for him to stay because I have friends that work there and I don't want it to affect them one way or the other, whether they move or they whatever. Um, or they stay and the new coach gets in. I don't want that for their family. Like that's what I think about. Lane's gonna do what Lane wants to do, but I'm more worried about the down the road guys that I like as people. When is the Disney TV dispute? Hell, I don't know, Ross. I think somebody said they're trying to do something soon, but I'll believe it when I see it. Losing $30 million a week. How far do you think the Pats can make it? They're good, JP. They're good, man. I think it's hard for me to go. They're going to sit there and go from zero to the Super Bowl. I think they can make a run. They're a good team. They're fun to watch. Do most new head coaches clean house? Yes. Yeah, they do. And it's fine. It's part of the business. Um, Kelly, I don't know are we firing Garrett Riley now? I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't asked. Don't know. Yeah, we're in the middle of the weirdness. It's just one of those things that, like, for you guys, for the fans, I just don't want it to get to, like, it's already weird. It's already uncomfortable for the fans. I just don't want it to get to, like, the weirdness of 100 level, which it can very easily get there. I would like for it to I'd like for the weird to chill out for a little bit. But yeah. Hey, and I do the same thing I've always done. I just do it for a bunch of teams instead of one. I do the same thing I've always done. That's the easiest way for me to explain it. I just do it for a whole bunch of teams instead of one. Uh, Neil posted on the board that some staffers said they would stay at Ole Miss over going to Florida. How often does that happen? Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that. I'm going to let Neil do all that. I don't know. I haven't read it. I don't know what Neil said. I'll let Neil do that. I'm not. I'm not going to comment on that. Um, what is it? I don't know a story. Travis, I don't know a story. That would be news to me. I don't know a story. Brissett or Rogers, dude, I'm always gonna ride with A Rod. Uh, Bama or Oklahoma? I like Alabama. I think it's gonna be a close game though. I know Evan, they're vacuuming again. I give up, dude. I'm like, now here's what's gonna happen, Evan. I'm gonna go downstairs and I'm gonna be pissed off when I go downstairs. Okay, I'm gonna walk my ass downstairs. I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm gonna be like, what are we doing? And then I'm gonna get yelled at, and it's gonna be like, hey, maybe if you would pick the vacuum up and vacuum, I wouldn't have to vacuum. I'm gonna be the asshole. I already know how I know how this works. I've This is called being a vet. I'm a 3-time world champ. I already know the conversation that's gonna happen. I already know what's gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, then I'm calling up my guy Rob down at County Line Campers and seeing if I can get that 2026 Gulfstream. I'm gonna need a 21-foot bunk version, right? And then I'm gonna have to call Outdoor Underwriters and get a insurance policy on it, so when she gets pissed, she doesn't wreck it. I mean, oh, she stopped vacuuming. I gotta be quiet now. Shh. She stopped vacuuming. I gotta be quiet now. Change the subject. Change the subject. Change the subject. Back to football. Because I think one of you freaking snitches freaking text her. Oh, well, who's a freaking snitch? Somebody's a snitch. Um, yeah, I've been married for a long time. I've been married for 100 years. I'm 87 years old. Um, don't hit any deer or curbs with the vacuum. Hey, Mark, if I went down there and said, I got an idea, don't hit any deer or curbs with that vacuum, she may literally hit me with it if she could pick it up. Um, that's good. That made my day, Mark. All right. Appreciate you guys as always for joining. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. We'll be live again tomorrow evening for the MPW Digital post game show presented by Real Tree. Let's go! Shout out to my guy Tyler and all the guys at Real Tree. They do just an awesome job. Appreciate them very much. I'm sure no one will be watching the post-game show tomorrow. I imagine it will be just me and Chase and Jeffrey and Neil and Brian just laughing at each other and just seeing how everybody's hanging out. I'm sure it'll be a shit show. So, but I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed day. Have a great weekend. Take a deep breath. Enjoy the last month of the season, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow.